start down the road of the hallucinations thing. But before it gets to kind of the way that they do as it is. But what I would do differently is I would have one of the crew members, quote unquote, wake up. Let's say Mayweather. And so now Phlox has to deal with the fact that there actually is a crew member who is awake during this thing, and then has to work with, and they can have their talking scenes. And the thing is that Mayweather is now awake in this thing that he's not supposed to be awake in, and so he's dying.
Right. And Phlox has to take care of him at the same time.
Yeah, but there is some sort of like thing that they're racing against, and he's having his hallucinations, but they also need to fix this problem. But Mayweather is also dying, and before they get to the climactic point, Mayweather actually dies.
Sure.
So then at that point, Phlox has to take the things that he's learned from this episode talking with Mayweather and use it to move past all of the mental anguish and stress of these hallucinations in order to fix the problem, only to find out that Mayweather himself was a hallucination. So
gotcha.
He's still alive. He was just sleeping the whole time. But it just gives it a little bit more like it does something interesting with the concept where it's like if somebody wakes up, they're going to die.
Right.
And so now you have this kind of back and forth, and you can actually kill him off and give him an interesting death scene and then pull it back at the end and have Phlox be like overjoyed to see Mayweather, but Mayweather's like, hey, what's going on here, Phlox? We don't talk that often because I'm not really in the show that much. Well, actually, no, we talk all the time because I'm constantly hurt. But you know what I mean? Like something like that, where instead of taking T'Pol and just doing this contrived thing to make her into like a goof because of space clouds, actually take the setup, use the setup, do something interesting, get people, or maybe Mayweather doesn't wake up on his own. Maybe Phlox wakes him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
he needs him for some reason.
Yeah, he can't do what he has to do on his own. So he has to wake Mayweather up. He knows because they were talking about it the whole episode, saying like every single crew member said to Phlox, "If you need me, wake me up. I'd rather die than Enterprise blow up." They mentioned it like 5 times.
Yep. Yeah.
So actually do that. Have Phlox, or at least make it look like that's what he's doing. Have Phlox have to wake up Mayweather, deal with this problem, but Mayweather's dying. Actually have Mayweather die. And so you can, you're playing with stuff here that has a little bit more weight to it that you can kind of get more drama out of instead of just, sitting around having lunch with T'Pol and then she starts shaking like a dog in a thunderstorm at the end.
Yeah, I like that idea because I think that it gives a good reason for it to be Phlox because it's a medical issue at that point. There's kind of a Hippocratic oath breaking going on there where if he wakes him up and then lets him die, or if he can't tend to Mayweather or something and Mayweather dies, it's a sort of violation of his oath as a doctor because he did the patient harm, right? And at the expense of the Star Trek moral of he saves the ship, but Mayweather dies. It also, as you say, it does give it a good oomph to you can have a death scene and actually call it back and reset it at that point. Yeah. And Phlox will learn something from that event. But mostly, I like it because in the nude scene with the two of them, Phlox can point at Mayweather himself and say, twins.
There's got to be a nude scene with both of them in this version.
Well, how can we not have a Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze-esque Chippendale sketch with the two with the two of them? But I do like your idea,
Mayweather. I just needed to know, and I didn't want to just open your suit. It would be well beyond my ethics to do this while you're asleep. So I had to wake you up.
I do like your idea, though. I think that pretty much fixes everything while keeping the general idea intact.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't do something like that because of especially that scene where they have with Trip. But you can't do it with Trip because they literally just killed him off kinda 2 episodes ago or whatever.
Yeah, I like Mayweather because he hasn't done anything, and
it's also a solid payoff of an in-joke of him constantly being hurt or
Right.
possibly dead.
yes, this will be the time that you actually have to go.